Hi, I've been working in coffee for more than 10 years now. From barista to roasting to green coffee development programs, I've dipped my little toes into many areas of the coffee supply chain. The goal of this video isn't to be super sciencey, experty, or fancy. It's a direct share of my experience and my contribution to coffee awareness. And with a full understanding of coffee, it's the only way I now drink mine. Don't overthink it. Making great coffee is in your hands and doesn't require any special equipment. One more thing I'd like to mention is that I'm choosing to use the cotton filter for many reasons, style being an obvious one. But for the purposes of this video, the cotton filter allows me to demonstrate how all coffee brewing involves the mixing of coffee and water together to extract the flavor. This is the basics, and cotton is the most simple and effective filter that, when used properly, outperforms all others.
Okay, so here now the water is boiling, which means we're ready to brew. We have our coffee, I'll turn that off so you don't have to hear it. We have our coffee that's already been measured out, enough for 1 cup, and we have our 8 brewer here, our mug, and our steeping vessel. So here we go. Once the coffee's boiling, turn it back on so you can see it boil. We're gonna put the coffee into the steeping vessel, just using a measuring cup here because everyone has one of those. Water's at a rolling boil. And we're just gonna saturate the grinds. There we go. So pour the water in and make sure that you do moisten all the grinds. You don't wanna leave any stranded, and I'll actually put this closer. Do a little close up for you. There you go. So you can see how bubbly and fresh this is. This is all the CO2 being released. And it'll bubble up for a little bit while it's steeping. Extracting is another word for it. And I'm just gonna agitate it a little bit, like that. So we'll let that steep anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on the amount of coffee, your grind size. You just want it to steep until it's nicely concentrated. I'm gonna let it go for about 2 minutes or so. So pre-warming the equipment is important with coffee all the time. It's a good idea to pour some water through the cotton filter and allow it to run through and heat the cup at the bottom. And that can be done while your coffee's steeping over here. So now we wait. It's been about 2 minutes or so, and I'm ready to pour the coffee into the filter and separate the grinds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour the water that was left over from warming the equipment into a bucket on the ground here. And now I'm ready. So very simply, just gonna pour this on through. Not much more to it. Pour it all in, and then there's always some grinds stranded at the bottom, and I always make sure to start the brew off with a little less water than needed so that I can top it up. There we go. Now that's nice and clean. Coffee's filtering through, and this is not pour over, it's steep separately and then filter. In pour over, you're putting the dry grinds in the top, and then you're pouring the water on top of the filter basket, and this way you're controlling the extraction in the side cup, pouring it through. And you see I didn't have to wait for the coffee to come through. It came through very quickly. So now you're left over with the wet grinds from the finished brew, and that's a nice concentrated cup of coffee. So actually what I'm gonna do, I did that on purpose, I'm just gonna top it up with some hot water so it's nice and steamy hot again. And there you have it. 1 cup of coffee, so cheers.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It'll motivate me to keep making more of them. Next video, coffee conservation brewing ratios. How to get the most out of your coffee grinds.